a decade, has to go through a PMP because this is more from a project perspective. Earlier they would have worked maybe on a software development lifecycle, but they would not know end-to-end how a project is being implemented, how a project starts, how a project goes through it, and how a project is being implemented, and thereafter how the servicing starts. So the entire gamut of understanding is given by the PMP. So there are about 47 processes which gives you a complete knowledge right from the beginning to the end of the PMP. So these 47 processes are classified into 10 knowledge areas which are in the vertical, in the column, one column, or you can say 10 rows, and 5 process groups. So within this table you have about 47 processes which are spread across. I will give you the the table later when we go ahead, maybe the second or the third class. So you can just remember there are 47 processes for the PMP. That's it. Okay. And why PMP? See, why PMP is a person who's experienced. You need not tell them what they have to do. They know what to do on a day-to-day basis. That's from the organization perspective. But from a management perspective, they do not know how to apply their knowledge. So that's why PMP comes into the picture. So they want to know what is the best method, best practices that's being used in the industry across the world. So you need to have a universal acceptance. You will be working in a product-based company which has several projects running of their own, maybe products, or you may be working for a service-based organization where you're doing the application support and maintenance. There are n number of projects you're servicing for different clients and vendors. So you need to have this knowledge. Where do you use costing? Where do you use scheduling? Where do you use time management? How do you resource your staff? How do you start the project? What are the different due diligence you need to do? So all these things won't come by practice. It only comes by learning and by certification programs. So that's why PMP is come. And one interesting fact I want to reveal is, see, it's not announced anywhere, but a person who's already PMP certified has an edge over another person who's of the same peer group, and he or she will be drawing about 10 to 15% extra benefits and perks as compared to a person who's not certified. That is the most important advantage people have over their peer group. And also nowadays you can see in any kind of an advertisement or a recruitment drive, they want to see to it that people are PMP certified. So the reason is it cuts down their training by at least 30%. So they will not tell a PMP graduate what they have to do. So they can immediately jumpstart the program or whatever the project is. So they need not tell them what they have to do. They can just send you the documents or the templates so that you can begin the project immediately. So that's the advantage of having a PMP. And one more thing is you can graduate yourself from maybe a solution architect or from a developer or a team lead to a project manager. So that's the most important aspect of a PMP. So, yeah. And another thing is it's an exam you have to take up after completing this course. Usually, it's for about 200 questions, and you need to get and there 175 questions are to be answered. And out of that, I mean, you need to answer all the 200 questions, but out of the 25 questions are trial questions. You don't know which of them are the trial questions. So it's a psychosomatic test. Yeah, it's and an MCQ. You heard about MCQ, right?
Your voice is making and breaking, Kiran.
Okay.
It's not continuous.
Is it okay now?
Yeah, it is like, sometimes it goes off actually. So
Okay.
Continue talking.
Please stop me.
Please
stop me in case if you find any kind of disturbance. Okay. So it's about 200 questions, as I said. You need to answer all the 200, and it takes maybe they say it's around 61% or 65% up to, but you never know which questions you answered right and wrong because you don't get a summary of what you answered later. And it's an MCQ. You heard about MCQs, right? MCQs. Okay, so it's something like it's you have 5 answers. Any of them
Hello.
can be right, or all of them can be right, or one or two. It may be A, it may be B, it may be C, or it may be. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, it's okay. Yeah, go ahead, Go ahead. I think,
Okay.
one word,
So
it goes off,
yeah.
actually. Mm.
Okay. I think somehow we'll manage. So it can be A, it can be B, it can be C, or it can be ABC, or ABCD, ABCDE, or none of the above.
Yeah, it is something like, giving our DMV test, like, sometimes it's in,
Right.
one answer is correct, sometimes all of them are correct, or like, we need to
Yes.
read entire all of the answers and pick up the best one or what is correct,
Right.
something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, you're absolutely bang on. See, it's not the right answer. It's the best answer.
Mm. All of them can
You
be
may find
right.
more than one right answer. Right.
But it goes
All
with
of them
how the
can all
questions
of them
are.
can be right, but you need to right
Yeah,
framed
I
and
understand that,
how the situation. Uh, Right. So that's how it is. And one more thing with PMP is you need to at least, I would say. I mean, do you have any time frame to take the certification, or you're okay with that?
right now, no, but I would like to take it immediately once I complete this training
Good.
course.
That's the best thing to do. Yeah, because
I don't
you should
have a
not.
time. Yeah.
Yeah, you should not give any kind of an rest or an idle time, because see, whatever you have learned, you should put into practice. Spend some more hours. I would say I would direct you what all things you need to do, how many hours you need to spend, what is your approach towards the studying, the exams, and all, so that you put your all your efforts and go ahead and take the exam. Because I've seen people, if they try to take more time, buy more time, no, I've never seen them go with confidence.
Yeah, right.
So it's always they keep procrastinating things. They say, and if not today, means maybe after a week. So I would say, please do not do that, and go ahead with all full steam and preparation, so that you can go ahead and take up the exam. Okay. Yeah. So this is just a gist of PMP. So if you have any questions, please let me know.
Oh, no, I'm okay.
Okay, sure. Then so I'll have a slide in front of me. I would just try to give you an introduction and an overview of what PMP is. So a few points which I've already mentioned would be over there, but still I would, for the benefit of anybody, I would just take it through these slides. So this is sponsored by PMP. That's a PMI. And it's a high caliber project management professional certification. It's recognized all over the world. They say 547,500 PMPs, but yesterday or recently I came to know it's almost now about 600,000 people have already completed. That's what I came to know, the latest one. So it's around, we have a fraternity who have been certified for almost every day. You can see thousands of people are taking up the certification program. So it's very hard to take account of statistics, like like a population, how a population statistics keep changing every second. So now the PMP certification has got that craze wherein people are jumping into it and trying to take the certification program, because for any kind of the recognition, they need a PMP certification, or at least to get into the management profile. And we follow the fifth edition of PMP. And I would just take you through the eligibility criteria. So you should have at least 35 contact hours of PDUs. They call it as PDUs, means professional development units. And you should have about 4,500 hours of project management experience. So in a span of 8 years with 3 non-overlapping years, you should have at least performed few activities on project management for about 4,500 hours. Okay. This is for a degree holder. For a non-degree holder who has a diploma or something like that, they need about 7,500 hours and 5 years of non-overlapping within a period of 8 years. So I don't think many of them fall into this category. It's only the category 1 which people fall into. So I think category 2 can be ignored.
I think in most recently they also added it should be varied 5 years, right? Meaning there should not be any gap or something like that.
Yeah, actually it's 3 years usually they'll ask for.
Mm-hmm.
No, no,
Okay.
not the
Okay.
gap, not the gap. See, it's not the gap. It's see, for instance, a person has worked for 20 years, and in between, if they've taken 5 years of gap, there's nothing, there's no problem.
No,
What they say
like,
is in the last,
immediately
yeah,
after.
mhm.
So immediately, like, previously they have got a gap of 5 years or so, or, some. So these 4,500 hours, whatever they have mentioned, I think, it is
Mm-hmm.
immediately from today or something like that, right? Or is it some,
No,
in our experience
in your
span of,
experience, it's in your
okay.
experience over a span of 8 years.
Oh, okay, maybe I saw something else then. Okay, all right. Uh-huh.
And yeah, in the span of 8 years, you should have 4,500 hours.
Okay, okay.
And most of them will fall into the category because even if you calculate 8 hours per day,
Mm.
6 hours per day,
Two and a
so
half,
it should be fine.
2.5 years or, 3 years.
No, that's
They would,
better.
it would fall, right? Okay.
Yeah, it should not be a problem, and you can substantiate it, and you see it's little relaxed. You need not take it very stringent. It's not very stringent on their part. See, the reason is all these things are on in the books,
Mm-hmm.
and I mean usually they encourage people to take up the PMP.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So you need not worry too much about it. And this is the price what they have. So $129 of membership fee, and initial certification is about $405. So it put together $434. You can ignore the re-examination and CCR fee. For non-members, it is about $555. So it's better to become a member. Beginning, I would say maybe not now. After you go through this course, you can become a member. About $129. You can download a soft copy of the book what they give, PMBOK. Then you can start studying. I would say not immediately. I would not suggest you to go for that. So this is kind of a vetting program for you, wherein you'll get to know the different paradigms of PMP, and then slowly you can enter into becoming a member and downloading the book. Once you start studying completely, then you can go for a certification, pay the fee of $405 once you're confident. So you can go in steps, not hush up everything in one go.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So 1 second, I'll just so I'll tell you what are the types of questions. For example, it will come. So I'm not testing your knowledge, but I'm just telling you, you can just go through this and give your best shot to it. We'll just see how it is. You may be correct. Can you read the question now? You have been notified that an important item for
You have been notified that an
uh-huh.
important item for your project will be delayed. What is the best thing to do? Ignore it, communicate the issue to your superiors, inform the customer and discuss the option, call a team meeting and analyze the alternative. BCD, communicate the issue.
I will tell you here. I will give you one thing. I'll give you a hint. It is only one answer for this.
Okay. You have been notified that important item of your project will be delayed. What is the best thing to do? Inform the customer and discuss action, call a meeting and the alternative. B?
Okay, let us see. Can you see, or do you want to change your option?
Notified that important item of your project is delayed. Okay, go ahead and give me the answer.
Answer is D.
Call a team and analyze. Alternative. When important item of your project.
The reason is why you have to get into the shoes of a project manager. You're no way a team member or a team lead now. So you see, if you have to communicate the issue to your superior, then project manager is not required, right? He's the whole and soul of the project. So you need to call the team, identify what are the alternatives, right? So I mean, it's just like that. It's more of a situational based question. This is one kind of a question, okay? So what you said is correct. I don't say it's wrong. It's right. What you've chosen is also the right one. Even I would have done that in your place.
That's
so
okay.
we go for the best answer. That's all. Yeah. So if it was two options, then you would have gone for B and D.
I don't know. Okay, anyway.
Right.
Call a meeting to analyze
No problem.
alternate.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because,
Yeah.
what I was
Because
thinking,
you are.
here the
Mhm.
project item in the project has got delayed. That delayed by the teams
Mhm.
only, right? Team is already aware of it. It got
Mhm.
delayed.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
that's the way I was
Mhm.
thinking. But again, if it is delayed
Okay.
already, again calling and analyzing the alternative is something like,
Uh-huh.
why do we need to do? Because that is already done according to me.
Yeah, I'll tell you one thing. That's the right one. What you're saying. See here, there is no superior than project manager for a project.
Okay. Okay,
Okay.
superior
Then it
for
comes the
me.
senior manager.
Here it is definitely a senior manager because it got delayed
No,
there.
no, no,
Okay.
no. Senior manager won't come into the picture at all. It's a
Okay.
complete. Once you are a project manager, unless you have to get more budget or more time, you won't go to a super senior manager.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, that
Okay,
is what
so
I'd
you
expected.
have
Here it
to
is more
within your.
time is needed,
Uh,
and it is something like, when
uh,
the time is coming into scene means it actually cascades many other things. As you mentioned, it can be a
mhm,
resource, or it can be the budget, or
mhm,
it can
mhm.
be the communication
So
to other people.
right.
My
If
thought was
yeah,
going.
if mhm. Okay, no, that's fair enough. What I would say, if option D was not available, then option B would be the next best option.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Okay, if option D was not available, then definitely B is the right answer. The reason is what, no? See, first you have to talk. The first tool and the most important tool for a project manager is communication, and he has to meet his team members right from the software engineer, right from the analyst level till the team lead and above level. He has to communicate. He has to find out what has happened, why it has happened.
Mm-hmm.
Only if it still doesn't give him an answer, he can go for the superior to say we have tried
Oh,
all the
your
options,
voice
it's
is
not working.
breaking and breaking.
Is it okay now?
Okay, go ahead. Uh-huh. Mm-hmm.
So after exploring all the options, if he still doesn't get an answer from his team, then he has to go and communicate the same to his superior. So escalation is not the first thing. First is trying to troubleshoot.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Only then he has to go and inform. So because senior manager tomorrow will come and ask, did you try all the options? He will ask. So if you say
Mm-hmm.
that I have tried X, Y, Z, only then he will come and say, okay, if it does not work, then this should be the answer. Or he himself will ask, as a project manager, what do you recommend?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So
Okay.
we are somewhat, we are elevating a project manager as a decision maker for any project.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, 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 I got that. Okay. Yeah, I think as I keep moving, right, I'll be.
Yeah, yeah. It's there. So many others. See, this is another thing, no, different kind. We're applying concepts and definitions. Okay.
Exactly.
You heard
Yes.
about a WS, WSE? Yeah,
Uh, no,
yeah.
what is WC?
Please go ahead and read the question. Yeah.
Applying
It's
concepts
a
and
work breakdown
definitions.
structure.
Decomposing deliverables into smaller or more manageable parts is finished when all elements have been listed in WBC dictionary. Accurate estimate can be developed for each item. No change request can occur. Project business need documented. Decomposing deliverables into smaller, more
Okay,
manageable
okay.
parts. Okay.
I,
Uh,
yeah, you can take parts as tasks.
Mm-hmm. More manageable parts is finished.
I think
More
this you may
manageable.
not have heard of WBS. Forget it. That's fine. I'll tell you the answer. See, a WBS is, I will explain. Yeah.
Work breakdown dictionary, work breakdown structure or a statement. Yes, definitely we go for it. No change request can occur. Change request can occur. Okay. Project business need was clearly documented.
Mm-hmm.
D. Project business need was clearly documented. Accurate estimate can be developed for each
Almost.
item. No change request can
Okay.
occur. Okay, go ahead.
A little bit different, but I'd actually see the answer.
No, I didn't answer you. So what is the answer? What is this? Decomposing deliverable
See,
into
what it
smaller
says
nodes?
is a WBS is something you know. I will tell you one thing. See, a WBS is breaking down into finer tasks elements. Okay. So when do we stop breaking deliverables into smaller is when an accurate estimate can be developed for each item. For example, you know, each task, you heard about MSP, right? Microsoft project.
Yes. Hello. Hello. I think I lost you, or I'm not hearing you.
So you break down that, for example, till break it down for each item. That is the last level where you break down the WBS.
Hello.
Okay. Okay.
No, I cannot hear you.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me now?
Yeah. Okay.
Is that okay now? Okay. So
Yeah.
you break down an element till an accurate estimate can be obtained for it.
Yeah, correct. You know, but that is finished when? Okay.
For example, if you're doing when an accurate estimate can be developed for each item, that's all.
So
Yes, this is a part of the program. But if people have already gone through PMP, then they will know this. But for you,
Hello. 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 Hello.
take you through this entirely. When you feel the sheet,
No, I cannot hear you.
is
Hello?
it okay now?
Okay. If you continuously talk, it looks like it is going away.
Maybe some minor hitches in between.
Okay. Okay, let's continue.
Okay. So I think I would give you the complete profile of what a WBS is, what is a work package, and how do you arrive at estimating these WBS, because this is part of the structure. In the program, I will tell you everything. This for people who already been in the scheduling profile, they will know this. If they have not worked on scheduling, they may not know that. That's fine. Okay. And I will give you this is the last. This is the general term. Unusual. This is by experience. See, some people know they get parking spaces in corner offices. You know that, no? If by experience or by their profile or by seniority they get. So what do you think? Maybe this is an option. Parking spaces in corner offices are. Is it a motivator? Is it a perquisite? Is it an entitlement or an overhead?
The entitlements?
Close, very close.
Then you go for it. I don't know what is that first one. Okay.
It's a motivator. Find it. Motivator. Herzberg is a scientist who came up with some motivational techniques. So it's not a motivation, I would say. Definitely it's not a motivation. Yeah, it's not a motivation.
It's a perquisite?
Yes, you are right. You're right.
Okay.
So this is the answer.
Okay.
It's a special reward given to some employees. It's a perks. You call it as a shortcut.
Okay.
Right. So, yeah, I'll just give you. So basic, what you need to have is the basic understanding of project management, work experience you should have, and intensive study of the PMBOK guide. And I would also suggest you some book which to refer. Okay. And you should have a vision on the project management. That's all. So how do we go with the training is, first we would ask you to go through the entire concept instead of memorizing. I will tell you a few things like formulae and all will be there for cost calculation, for scheduling. Only those things you need to memorize. Otherwise you need not memorize everything. It's more of reading and trying to comprehend it. It's a kind of a comprehension reading. You need to digest few things and apply it over a period of time, because the questions are more on situation based questions. It's not detailed questions which appear on the, okay? I'm sorry, Shailaja. I'll try to do my best.
Okay. So go ahead. Let's continue.
Yeah. So we have about 12 modules. I'm just giving you the 7 modules here. I'll break it up again. So first is I'm covering now the overview. Next I'll be covering the project management framework. What is the framework of a project management? Then I would talk about the processes. I told you, there are several processes. Few of the processes I would touch, and I would go with the, I told there are about 10 rows. I will start with the first row, the integration management, how you integrate a project, what is the scope, what is time, what is cost, scheduling, communications, human resources, risks, and procurement. So these are few modules which we will be covering, right from integration to procurement. Some people may not get a chance to work on procurement, right? But here we will cover what is procurement, what is bidding, what is RFPs. Have you heard about RFPs and all?
No, not RFP.
Okay, no. RFP, something like, bidding. Have you ever bidding a project for, they go for bidding?
Yeah.
So something, it's a part of that. You requisite for proposal. You propose, you give a proposal like how much you are charging for the entire project, how you break it. So there are some bidder
consulting firms they do, right? Consulting firms,
right? Right.
Okay.
So before getting a project, what all things due diligence you need to do. So all these things would be discussing in procurement management. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Now PMBOK is an ANSI standard. You know ANSI standard, right? So it's more based on the ANSI standard, and it's I would say specific or it's more targeted towards the IT, but it's also applied for various other projects across the world, maybe an oil refinery, or maybe for an energy sector, for a telecom, for a banking, for insurance. It's PMP is applied across all the projects. Wherever projects are there, PMP is there, and it's neither comprehensive nor inclusive. It doesn't allow. It doesn't give you the minute details. It'll leave it to you. It'll give just the processes, and it'll give the advantage to you to apply your concepts, and you can customize according to the processes. Okay. And it's not a project management methodology, I would say. People think it's a method. Agile. You have your V and waterfall and your spiral. All these models. It's not a methodology. It's more of a how it's an approach. It's an approach to project management.
Okay.
Okay. Project. You want to say the definition what a project is, or I will help myself tell you. See, according to PMP, this is one thing the first thing which we need to learn. Project is a temporary endeavor undertaken to create a unique product, service, or result. 3 things. So it's a temporary endeavor undertaken to create a unique product, service, or a result. It may be a product, it may be a service, or a result. And you have to stress on the point temporary. Temporary means it has a definite beginning and a definite end. And doesn't mean it's short in duration. See, definite begin and definite end means you have a timeline when you start a project and when you complete the project. And doesn't mean short in duration means whatever the output or the outcome of a project is not short-lived. For instance, you may build a monument. See, monument you may take 5 years to build. It's a project, but the monument may last for centuries. So it's not short in duration. Correct? So it doesn't mean short in duration. Its result may be lasting for several decades or several centuries. And temporary doesn't apply to the result of the project. Temporary is just for the beginning and the completion of the project. Okay? And unique is the result is different in some distinguished way from all other existing products. For instance, if you are building a product, for instance, you have Microsoft XP, you have Vista, then you have come up with Windows 7. See, it's all of them are the operating system, but they have a different purpose to serve, right? They have more features. They have a lot of other advantages over the previous versions. So it's every new product is a project now. So you have the XP, you have the Vista, you have the 7, but all are Microsoft products itself. So it's unique. Is it not unique from each of them? So every project is unique. It may be an XP project, it may be a Vista project, or it may be a Windows 7 project. So every project is unique from each. Okay? And it's a progressive elaboration. See, progressive elaboration, it's also called role wave planning. Another name for progressive elaboration is role wave planning. Role wave planning means what? When you're trying to develop a product, you may not get all the requirements, correct? In the beginning, are you crystal clear with the product? how a product should be, how it should be developed. So it's something like, you have a discussion, meetings, you get the idea in increments, correct? Step by step, when you involve a lot of people. So that's the reason it's called progressively elaborated. So any product for a project is progressively elaborated. When you keep discussing, talking, put the plan in perspective, you get the so every project is progressively elaborated. Okay, it's developing in steps and continuing by increments. Right?
Okay.
Okay. So for these are I have just jotted on few points. What are the different kinds of projects? Because this encompasses different areas of the industry. Maybe constructing a building is a project, implementing a computer application is a project, launching a new business is a project, restructuring an organization which is already there is again a project, because it has a beginning and an end. Marketing campaign. If you launch a product, you want to look at how good is the product. You want to launch a campaign. You want to give samples. You want to understand which age group is using this more. And what time they're using, what is the cost, is it effective or not. So it's a marketing campaign, again is a project. Building a highway also you have you have X number of miles to be built, so that's again a project. Or modernization of an existing water system. You have a plumbing system which is very old, drainage and sewerage, you want to modernize it, it's again a project. So organizing a cultural event, for instance, they have event managements now. You want to throw a party or a marriage, so you can't do everything. You just give it to an event management committee. So it's a project for them. You are giving a project for that, for the cultural event program. And relocating business. If you are relocating your business from one city to another, the complete infrastructure has to be changed. So that's again a project. So these are anything you do which has a time frame, beginning and end, is a project. Okay. And who is a project manager? I told you, why a project manager? A project manager is the person ultimately responsible for the outcome of the project and lead the team for achieving the project objectives. So he's something like, whole and soul of the project. Okay. So a project manager is formally empowered to use organizational resources, such as he's in total control of the project. He's authorized to spend the project's budget. I told you, right? The senior manager will give the project, he'll give you the project charter, and he will tell the project manager, you are the boss for the project. You are like captain of the ship. The ship is you are traveling, so you have to take care of everything. You have the budget, you have the time, you are authorized to make any decisions. So that's how it is. And project managers, there are project managers in a product-based company, in a project-based company. Where I will tell you, for instance, the project manager may not be fully occupied. There is some revamp program going on. These project managers may work only for part-time. So in a functional organization, wherein a product is developed, they may work as a part-time. Okay.
Why is that? You say that it's a part-time, and how that is different from the full-time there then?
Okay. I will tell you one thing. See, when how I'll tell you how it happens. See, when there is operation involved, for example, in a mechanical industry, you have you develop some product. Okay, they develop some pistons or some components, and they do it over a period of time, 100 components or 100 same things over a period of time. So, do you need a project manager for that?
Not required. It's a repetitive task.
Right,
Once it is set,
right,
it may not be needed in there. Okay.
Right. So he may go there and work there as a consultant for a part-time.
Okay.
Shall I tell you how? For instance, if their efficiency is dropping, or if they are facing some shortage of labor, if they are not getting the right resources for the people, the project manager will jump in and tell why it is getting delayed, what kind of right resources they need to recruit, and why the efficiency is getting down. Is it because of human-related problems or a process-related problem? Maybe what would they be doing? They may not be using automation systems. They may be doing everything manually. The project manager will come and see why it is getting delayed. He may give some suggestions. So it may be a consultant-based project. So that is called as a part-time.
Okay.
When you're developing a product from end to end, it becomes a full-time.
Okay.
Or when you're servicing for a client, when you're servicing, for example, there is a code revamp happening. When the code upgrade happening, a project manager has to be there. You cannot get into a project without a project manager.
But what's the difference between SDM and the project manager then? Software development manager and the project manager.
Okay. He sees from the prism of a software development lifecycle.
Okay. Project manager
So
is business oriented.
Yes. He's also on the process oriented. He's also on the software oriented. He's also on the business oriented. More on the business oriented.
Because in some of the organizations have seen, actually I've heard, there is no official title as such as a project managers. It's SDMs, they handle it.
Right.
And maybe the startups or startups is fine, like the titles are totally interchanged there, especially in the mid-sized companies. It's especially technical teams where the product oriented team, the organization, it's most of the time it's a SDMs comes into picture rather than the project manager. Okay.
Right. So how it happens, I'll tell you. As you said, an SDM can be a project manager. Okay. And he can don the role, both the roles. So how they can be qualified is an SDM not necessarily will know the end-to-end project management, but whereas a project management can don the role of SDM. They may not specifically give the title as a project manager, but he would have gone through the project management life cycle. He would have gone through end-to-end. See, whereas as SDM, no, he would have been just concerned from a technical perspective, that is from the engineering perspective. But for a project manager, no, as you said, he'll be completely working for the objectives of the organization. It's in terms of revenue, in terms of how the cost, in terms of time. So everything he'll be working, and what is the ultimate profit for the organization.
Okay. All right. Okay.
So, yeah. And yeah. See, these are, I told you, right? There are about 10 knowledge areas and 5 process groups. And most important thing, these are few interpersonal skills are very important for a project manager. For example, leadership, team building, motivation, communication, influencing, decision making. I told you, decision making is very important. Political and cultural awareness. So a project manager should also know about political and cultural awareness, because when they're working in different geographies, they need to understand what is the culture of that. Maybe sometimes in Japan, if they're working for a Japanese project, they may have a different culture. If they're working for Asia, for example, to Southeast Asia, they may have a different culture. If they're working in the Middle East, they may have a different, or if they're working for Australia, they may have a different culture. So you need to understand that you should be aware of the political and the geopolitical situations, I would say, and the cultural awareness. So it's not only about technical coding, review, or deployment. It's also the project manager need to know all these things. Right? Because they would be negotiating from all the sides. See, sometimes they may be going for bidding, sometimes they may be going for winning an award or a contract, signing the contracts. So they need to know how things work. Okay. So our negotiation, trust building, conflict management, and coaching. So they need to get all these traits in them. Okay. And most important thing, it's communication.
Okay.
We can see of the coordinator. How about a coordinator, project coordinator?
Yes.
Okay. So I would say in some organizations, project managers do not exist, as you said. Instead, these organizations use the role of a project coordinator. The coordinator is weaker than a project manager. He may be allowed to make budget decisions. He may not be allowed, but they may have authority to reassign resources. Like put one resource from there to here, try to see which is a mix and match of getting more efficiency. So first, a project manager will come. He'll lay the guidelines, give the complete roadmap, and a project coordinator will take over. As you said, when repetitive jobs are happening, a coordinator is enough. You don't need a project manager.
Project coordinators are usually found in a weak matrix.
There are also certain constraints. Right, right. You're absolutely right. Week metrics is wherein, you know, it's more of a functional type. You don't, the way things are not changing from the project perspective, like, you know, there is no improvement, scope for improvement for anything, or you don't have to change the design of a product, or you don't want to increase the efficiency by a marginal percentage, maybe 15%. If you want increasing just by about 2%, 3%, you don't need a project manager. So project manager will come and understand why, what is the design involved. Do you need to change the design, or do you need to change the structure, how they have to do, so that you get more efficiency, or you need to come with a total different product. So that's when the project manager will come to picture. If you're doing a repetitive job, you don't need a project manager. You just, in the beginning, you need, when you are giving a handoff, when a new product is launched and when you give a handoff, then you need a project manager.
Okay.
So you can leverage the role of a project manager. Expeditor, you know, no? Expeditor. So he is the weakest of all in the matrix. Usually something like, you know, they'll be like an assistant or a small-time consultant. Their primary responsibility lies in making sure things arrive on time and tasks are completed on time. For example, if you need some networking assistance, you need some computers, you need some you know, templates, software templates, or software special devices, devices to be installed. For instance, you may be working on barcode readers, scanners, or something like that, wherein all the devices, they make sure that whatever is required for a project, everything's are up and running. So expeditor is more of a person who helps in running the project.
Yeah. That's okay.
Right. And the senior manager. Now we come to the role of a senior manager. For the exam, you can think of senior manager as anyone who is more senior than a project manager. That's all. Okay.
Okay.
So yeah, you can just think like that. And so for us, project manager is a king, or I would say a chieftain. He's a chief for us. So beyond project manager comes a senior manager, or you can call it as a management. What they do as senior manager is, he's more from the organization perspective. See, he will be handling a number of projects, a senior manager, maybe more than one project, 2 projects, and he would be laying down the objectives for each project. He will just lay out the objectives in consultation with the project manager and the client, and he will just say, this is your baby, take care of the project, and I will give you all the money, time, and I need a report every day or over a period of time. So the complete onus is on the project manager.
Okay.
So, and he comes into picture only when there is a conflict. Okay. Conflict is not in a day-to-day conflict, it's conflict between client and the project manager. Okay. Sometimes it happens, you know, there will be some undue demands from the client. You would have coded everything, the module would be ready, suddenly they'll come and say, I didn't like this module, this is not how I wanted. They want to restructure the entire module. So it will be a totally different, difficult exercise. So at that time, to resolve the conflict, project senior manager will come into picture.
Okay.
Otherwise, in a day-to-day work or something, senior manager will never come to picture.
Okay.
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 Stakeholders. You heard about stakeholders, right? A stakeholder is a person or an entity which is directly or indirectly involved in the outcome, or they may affect the result of the completion of the project. Okay. For instance, I will tell you, if you're working on requirements gathering, you may work with a business analyst of a client, or if you are trying to get a contract, you may work with the government. Government becomes a stakeholder. If you're trying to get some computers, devices from a different vendor, maybe from Dell, HP, or Lenovo, wherever from, so they become your stakeholders. If they delay in providing you computers, your project will be delayed. So everybody who impacts your project is a stakeholder. You just think anybody and everybody who's related directly or indirectly to the project is called a stakeholder, on a broad perspective. Okay, so just stakeholders who have at least a positive or a negative influence on the project. Okay, sponsor. Sponsor is the person paying for the project.
Yes.
Okay, he may be internal or external to the company. For example, I tell you, if you are developing your own product, okay, you have a General Electric, they come up with their own products, right? They have many things which they have some medical devices, they have some X-rays, scanners, so many things, MRI equipments. So they have their own products. They'll be funding their own organization. Okay. For instance, if you, for example, you take an IBM or an Accenture, or you can take up any Dell or something. If they are working for a project implementation, then the sponsor is outside. They're working for a different person.
Yeah.
So that is a sponsor. We call them as a customer. Okay. A person who's sponsoring within the organization, it's called as a project champion.
Okay.
Okay.
Some organization.
The sponsor is usually internal to the performing organization, and the customer is external.
Okay.
Right.
Okay. Customer is external, the sponsor and the customer. No, can you go back to old style? Okay. Sponsors and the customer may be the same person, although the usual distinction is that the sponsor is internal to the performing organization and the customer is external. Okay. This if it is product is or I would say, so for the consulting companies, they are taking the project and they are giving it to outside customer. Yes, the customer is, we can say, external.
Sponsor, right.
And the sponsors, and otherwise if it is in-house, everything is inside, then the customer and the sponsors are in the same organization only.
Absolutely, you're bang on, correct.
Okay.
For example, I tell you, General Motors or the Ford, they develop their own cars, correct? So the sponsor is internal, correct? For instance, you take up a project of what you call, I would say, if you want to some gas refinery, okay, you have the expertise, you have you can go and do it, so that becomes a project for you. Somebody else is paying for you.
Yeah, right. Okay.
Right. So something like that, as you said. So if you're developing your own product, then it's a sponsor. Sponsor is internal. It's a project champion. If you're developing the product or the service for a different people, then it's the customer. Customer will be paying you. For example, I tell you, you have a facility wherein you're developing a payroll. Okay, you're doing a payroll for a company, and when you're doing a service for the company, so that becomes a project for you.
Okay.
Is it clear?
Yeah, that's fine. Got it.
Okay. You heard about PMO, right? PMO, Project Management Office?
Of course,
Yes. So this term refers to a department that can support the project PMs with methodologies, tools, training, etc. Okay. It's a one-stop shop wherein a project manager will get all the help from the project management office in terms of maybe templates, in terms of maybe devices, in terms of maybe tools, in terms of maybe methodologies, in terms of maybe historical information. For example, you would have if you're trying a new project, you can go and ask them, was there any project which was done similar to this? So they would have all the records, they would have all the historical information of previous projects which have been done in the organization. So you can go and it's something like it's a library of information for you.
Okay.
But also they do the in-house training, as I said, they do the training for a project manager. They help the project manager like how you have to tackle. It's all from the now you can say PMO is funded by the organization. Okay, so a PMO would be who would be paying for the project of PMO? Company would be paying.
So company is a sponsor.
So the client is internal. Correct, for a PMO. So PMO to exist, a company is a sponsor. Okay, and they give out they're defining standards for the company, or for the maybe what is the standards prevalent in the industry standards, company standards. providing best practices. They'll say, if we think, you say that I can estimate it can be completed in 30 hours, then they will say it's a very aggressive estimate. You have to go with a buffer. They will give you the best practices, what is in the industry, and they'll also help you in auditing. Auditing helps, no? Sometimes you may be costing more, or you may be charging more for the client, or charging very less. They'll try to audit and say where we are going wrong, and they'll try to give some ideas. Okay.
Okay.
And PMO is, it's responsible for the project management methodology, best practices, mentoring for project managers, and it's like a central coordination committee for all the projects within the organization. So now we come to operations. See, we defined project earlier, right? Can you just tell me what a project is?
The project is something, it's a strategy or the execution in an organization for a product, or something that end result to happen.
Correct. So I told you three different. I mean, you may go through it later. I told you three different unique characters. No, it's temporary. It has a beginning and an end.
Okay, it's a temporary, unique product, service, and result.
Right. Okay. And a progressive elaboration.
Okay.
Right? These are the three things. So now let us look at operations. Okay. One is project, one is operation. We are seeing project versus operations. Okay. So operations are ongoing endeavors that produce repetitive outputs. You said no, you have a repetitive output. So something like project is an endeavor undertaken to create a unique product, service, or a result. Okay. Operations are ongoing endeavors that produce repetitive outputs. It's like a production. Or alternatively, they call production operations. You keep doing the same old monotonous work over a period of time. Then you say, fed up, yeah, I'm doing the same old thing. It's like an operation. I'm not doing any project. I'm doing an operation the whole time. Correct? So it may be, examples are production operations, manufacturing operations, accounting operations. If you're filing the same tax for so many people, it's something like an operation. It's like you have a process document, you keep doing the same repetitive old jobs every time. Or software support and maintenance. Somebody calls a help desk, they'll tell you my system PC is not working, it has crashed. They'll tell go to this document, this help file is there, perform these steps. Is it not an operation?
It's an operation.
Right. So these are all operations. And now let us delve into the common characteristics of a project and a product. Sorry, project and an operation. Okay. So both are performed by people. Correct. Both project and an operation is performed by people, constrained by limited resources. So sometimes it will be constrained by limited resources, but another common feature is planned, executed, and controlled. Both you have to plan. For example, for a project, you have to plan right from beginning to end. Whereas for an operation, it's a day-to-day operation. No, today what is output? What is your efficiency? How much efficiency you will arrive at? Is it 99% or 99.9%? Or what is the number of output? Maybe 100 components, 200 components. So every day you have to plan. Whereas in a project, no, it's hourly. You have to plan hourly. You have to plan right from beginning to end. Okay. So now let us look at the differences between an operation and a project. Operations, as you said, are ongoing and repetitive, while projects are temporary and unique. Okay. A project concludes when its specific objectives have been attained, while an operation adopts a new set of objectives and the work continues. Okay. So a project is something like I told you, when you develop a Vista product or develop a Windows 7 project, it's one project. Okay. When you implement or when you provide service for a Windows 7 project, it's an operation. Okay. Developing once is a project. Using it a number of times is an operation. Got it, right? Yeah. So now we'll see what it is a project. Projects are divided into smaller, more manageable components. So project it's something phase. Phases. No, they are into phases. So why you have a phase is for anything for that matter you need a phase because you need to have an earmark a completion. For example, you have a requirement phase, you have a design phase, you have a build phase, you have a coding phase, you have a testing phase, you have an implementation phases, correct?
Correct.
So what do you achieve at the end of a phase? there is a tangible, verifiable work product. For every phase, you have some tangible output. Okay, so that's when you say a phase is complete. You say you have a code freeze, or a requirement phase is freezed, or a build is frozen, or coding is frozen. So you arrive at some milestone. So for every milestone, you call it as a phase. Okay, and phase and review purpose. See, why do you have a phase and review is, see, you after you do a phase, and you go and consult your client and ask, this is what is developed based on your requirements. You need to get an acceptance. Okay, so you sign the document saying this the requirement phase is over, and the client is signing this requirement phase. You are freezing the requirements. Okay, so what do? You consult the client, have a meeting, requirement freezing phase, acceptance of the work completed. They have to sign on the paper.
Yes.
Agreement. Okay, and if not, they have to determine what is the need of extra work that is required. Okay, so you consult, you discuss, and if they want more requirements, or if they want change in requirements, or if you want if they want requirements to be a little bit elaborated, you do it, and you finally go and sign the requirement. So that is a phase end review. Okay.
Okay.
So now you can just see here, there's a graph. On the x-axis, you can see the project time. On the y-axis, you can see the high. That is a risk. Okay, risk and the influence. See, you can see cost of changes. You see, when the requirement phase in the beginning, the cost of changes, when you make a lot of changes, the cost is very less. Correct. When you go to the build phase, the testing phase, if the client wants more changes, it will spiral up. The cost of changes increases. Correct. This is one way to look at it. And you look at the another line, stakeholder influence on the top, risk and uncertainty. See, in the beginning, the stakeholders' influence is very high. They will be the decision maker, and the risk also is very high, because you don't know what you're doing. Are you doing the right product or the right project? And uncertainty is too high in the beginning. But as you progressively elaborate the product, once you start envisioning what a product is, the risk, the stakeholder influence and uncertainty comes down. So these two are inversely proportional.
Yes. Okay.
Got it? Yeah. This is how it is. Yeah. And now I will say, who are the stakeholders? I told you, already I have told, individuals and organizations that are actively involved in the project, whose interest may be affected with the project, may exert influence on project, positive or negative. I told you, right? If you get a early sign off, it is positive influence. If you get a delayed sign off or delayed approval, then it is a negative influence. Okay. And what a project management team in the beginning should do is, they should identify the stakeholders first. Who are the stakeholders? Determine the requirements and expectations. First, you have to understand what the requirements, and then assess their knowledge and skills. Some people may be functionally strong, they may not be technically strong. So you need to understand what if you're going to capture the requirements, right? They may just give you the functional requirements, but you need to go and convert it into software requirements. Correct? So you need to understand what their skills are. If you think the person is not giving the right answer, you have to go and approach different people. So you have to take a discretion and a call on that, and you have to manage their expectation and influence. Okay.
Expectations.
And these are few. Yes. So that's all. Okay. And now in this, you can see the key stakeholders. I told you who are the stakeholders: customer, or user. The person or an organization that will use the result of the project is the customer or a user. Okay. Sometimes customer and users may be different entities. I told you, right? Customer may be a sponsor. We told no.
Okay.
And customer and users may be different entities, or customer and users may be the same sometimes. Correct. They may ask for some requirement or some project which needs to be developed for them, and the customer is sponsoring, and customer also is the end user. Okay. And sponsor is the group of people that provide financial resources for the project.
Okay.
And portfolio managers. I will talk about portfolio in the next thing. Program manager also in the next thing, and project management office I've already discussed. Can be a stakeholder because if they have direct or indirect responsibility for the outcome. PMO. Portfolio manager. I'll tell you briefly now what is a program manager. A program manager is above a project manager. See, a project manager is handling one project. Is one project manager. A program manager is who is handling more than one project.
Okay.
Program manager. Portfolio manager is still higher. Portfolio. I think you heard about portfolio, right?
Okay, no, I never worked directly like, in the portfolio managers kind of an
Yeah, they won't
organization.
come into picture because I'll tell you why. It's only in the service-based organization, not in a product-based organization. They'll never come into picture, portfolio and
Okay.
program managers. It's only in the service-based organization because, see, if you're working on different sectors like, oil and gas, you're working on telecom, you're working on medicine and healthcare, you make working on insurance, banking, n number of domains, okay? Then only a portfolio manager. You have a different portfolios of projects. Then a portfolio manager will come into picture. Got it? Otherwise you won't. If you're working only on software testing products, software development product, it's just a project manager or a program manager. The best thing you can do is a project program manager. That's all.
Okay.
Okay? That's all. A portfolio manager is usually, mutual funds will have a portfolio manager. Mutual funds, right?
Okay. Review the projects written on investments, value
Well,
alignments. Okay.
right.
So who
Normally
does
the
all
project
of
within the
this then? Who shares these role in other organizations, the portfolio manager's role? Is it a director of engineering or is it a project manager who takes the...
Right.
Okay.
So what happens is, see, they will have a verticals. They may not have a portfolio vertical. They may have a verticals, as you said, is a director of engineering, a VP, vice president of marketing, president of operations, president of accounting, president of purchase, president of sales. So they may have such verticals. They may not have a verticals of portfolio. Portfolio will come only if you have an assortment of different projects, which varies according to the different sectors. It may be, as I told you, right? Energy sector. If you have energy sector, if you have a telecom sector, if you have banking, insurance, finance, marketing, if you have healthcare, only then you have portfolio. You have a portfolio of so many programs. So each program has projects which are into similar. Okay. A combination of projects which are with the same domain is called as a program. Okay. A combination of programs which are which are across different domains are called as a portfolio.
Okay.
Got it? Something like, portfolio can be at a director level or president level, who would be looking at many things.
Okay.
Got it?
All right. Okay.
So that's it. I think we have almost come to the close of this session.
Oh, you're almost done. All right. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So if you have any questions, please you can pose it to me.
Right now, no, I'm okay. I'm doing good, and this introduction is pretty good, and lot of terms probably I was introduced over here.
Oh yeah.
And some other things like I recollected connecting myself with my working organization.
Yeah.
It was kind of little handy, good, So I probably may need to go through over some of the terms and definitions and things like that. How do I get those? Is it something like, you help me out, or is it something you suggest?
I will tell you. I'll tell you how. That's the reason, right? I will give you guidelines of how we have to go. See, I will tell you one thing. A project management course has to be taken up with a lot of participation. It's not like I'm giving a sermon or a discourse and you just hear and just you can go and replicate the same on the paper. I need an equal participation and from your side. So how it goes, I'll tell you. See, I would supply you the information. You have to study that. You have to prepare yourself, and then come for the next session.
Okay. Next session.
Because see, I can. Right. The reason is what I'll tell you. So I can just give it in maybe 10 or 15 sessions, finish it off, and just leave saying that my job is done. But it doesn't help you. Correct.
So in the next session, what would happen?
I will go for the next one, framework. I told you, right? Project management framework.
Okay. So your project management framework is the next session. And how about today's whatever you said? I know some of the things definitely I need the definitions of those so that I would remember that and I connect myself. So how do I do that? Like you've given the so many definitions for the project coordinator, project expeditor, and stakeholders.
I will try to.
And those are the some of the definitions, right? At least, is it something like,
Right.
you know, you recommend any book, or is it
Right.
something any short notes, 1 or 2 slides you send me, or how is that done?
Okay, I try to do that. In case if I'm not able to send the slides, I try to give you the extract of this information.
Yeah, at least little bit, like, you know,
Fine?
so that
Oh yeah,
okay.
yeah, yeah. And one more thing, what I would do, no, I would urge you to study. Okay, the reason is what, no, see, everything is connected.
Yes,
So
I
only
agree
if
to
you,
that.
yeah, only if you prepare, no, you can, I'll be comfortable to go for the next session.
Exactly. Like, you know, I should not forget also whatever that is you have told me
Yeah,
today,
yeah,
right? You know,
right.
somewhere, like, you know,
And
some of the words and some of the things, if I get, you know, some little clue, I can study myself and prepare for the next session. That's the reason I was asking.
right.
Some kind of
And
a study.
yeah, yeah. And what now? See, in the industry or in the market now, what they're doing is, I'll tell you what happens. They'll have 2 weekend programs. Okay, they will hush up everything and finish off, and they say my instructor's mm, job is done, and it's only on the the trainee to take up the course. So I would not do that. I would expect you to study. So what we'll do now, if I do every day, I don't think you'll have time to prepare and do everything. So we will space it in such a way that you have time to study and come back. So that you have time to revise, study, think about it, and then come back. And I will ask you a few questions, and then I'll start the class.
Okay.
Fine? So that you will
Okay.
be prepared, well prepared for that. I don't want just to hush up things and say that, oh, my job is done.
Okay. Okay.
Fine? So you can share your email ID. I'll try to see if I can give something for you. And we'll space it in such a way that at least 2 times a week, twice a week we'll meet. At least as I can get some progress from your side, no, if you are pretty fast, we can space it for thrice a week. If it is fast, okay. Or
Otherwise, yes,
currently I would say yeah.
twice a week, like we'll be
Yes.
sitting, meeting in the
Correct.
Go meeting. That's what you mean?
Right. Right.
Okay, twice a week. It's for about an hour. You're thinking
Oh,
about.
now I think it's about 1.5 hours we met, right? We met for about 1 hour 30 minutes almost.
Yeah. So it's like, you know, 9:30. It is in the morning. It would end by 10:30, 10:30, 11, something like that.
Yeah. Right.
10:30, 11, something like.
Sometimes it may be 1 hour, sometimes it may be a little bit more.
Okay. Not every day. We Monday to Friday will not be meeting. So some days we just fix it up and then we meet for 1.5 hours, something like that.
Yeah. The reason is why, no. See, it's something like if I give a throughput, no, every time. If I keep giving it, it won't be good for you to take it. See, you need to digest few things. You need to understand, internalize few things within you. So as you said, right? Only then I think it'll be helpful for you to understand things better going ahead.
Okay. Okay. What are the days
Fine?
like you prefer in that sense?
Yeah. Let us be flexible. Let us be flexible for both of us. So that in case if there are any changes, we'll communicate.
Okay, that means each time whenever we meet, we make the decision when to meet and, you know, how do we go about it.
Right.
Like that approach.
Right.
Okay.
Would that be okay?
Okay. We'll start with like that and, you know, let's see, like, you know, how it goes.
So today is Wednesday. So we will meet either on Sunday. Is it okay, Sunday for you?
Sunday around what time?
Or you want it on Monday evening, Monday morning?
Sunday morning is going to be around what time? It is Sunday morning around 9:30, 10?
Yeah, or a little bit earlier you want?
It's okay, around 9:30, 10 it should be okay, around 10.
Okay, so we will do one thing in that case. We'll meet either on Saturday or on Monday. Is that okay, Saturday?
No, Saturday is not possible at all, no way. Saturday is, I'm totally busy with something else. Sunday morning 10 o'clock is fine to me.
10, is it? Can it be a little bit earlier?
What time, like around?
Like how we met today?
Today we met around 10 only.
Half an hour. Can we take it back by half an hour?
9:30?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Or it is Monday 9:30 you say, right? Next option I have is Monday 9:30.
Yeah, Monday is
This
also fine
this
for
time
me.
let us meet at Monday only, Monday 9:30.
Fine. Is it okay for you, Shailaja?
Yeah, Monday 9:30 we will meet, and today it is
Uh,
what, Wednesday, right? Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday.
right.
It's a gap,
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
coming again on
Mm-hmm.
Monday, right? Monday 9:30.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. How do
Uh,
you find the presentation? How do you find the course?
yeah, it's pretty okay. Good. I
Uh-huh.
need, for me, little more elaborations I might need, because those terms is the something like which I need to catch up. That is the gap I
Mm-hmm.
have currently now with my
No, don't worry.
interviews.
You don't worry. Mm-hmm.
I know that once it started, I feel like familiarities. But if I face the interview, like some of the terms definitely they expect the technical terms, or like some kind of words, or they expect, not just
Yeah.
speaking just like that in the layman terms. We cannot be talking in the
Mm-hmm.
interview.
True.
That is something. Once we pass through interview, that is once you get into the organization, there onwards it's something different.
Right.
So
It will be a cakewalk for you. I'm sure, because with your experience, no, once you get into the profile, right, you can be on your own.
that's what, like that is where the problem I'm facing, because I've got the gap, right? Some of the terms,
Mm-hmm.
when interview asks the questions, like I miss out. After the interview, I remember many other things. I don't
Okay.
want that. I want to get the gap filled.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's why like I'm
Now,
facing this.
have you got a fair idea of? I have introduced you to so many terms and terminologies, right? So
Uh,
many
yeah,
stakeholders. Have you got an
yeah,
idea?
yeah. This is fine, fair
Uh-huh.
enough to me.
Mm-hmm.
Probably
Mm-hmm.
when I take your questions next time or something, I like to
Oh
know
yeah,
like how
yeah.
I'm doing,
And one more thing, what I will do now, I will try to give you some questions also after this. Okay, after this,
Mhm.
after second or the third session, no, I'll mail you a few questions. Okay, like how I asked you,
Mhm.
no, 3 questions I asked you in the beginning, right? You remember?
Uh-huh.
I'll mail you a few
Okay.
questions so that you'll find answers. Next time we will discuss answers. Next time when we meet, no, we will discuss
Mm.
answers.
Sure, not a problem.
I
Yeah.
will not give you the answers upfront because
Mhm.
I will allow you to think about it, and then we will
Mhm.
discuss the answers.
Yeah, yeah.
Or if you're comfortable, I'll give you the answers also in a different sheet. You can go through that, and if you think there's you can cover up the answers, you can just go for the questions. And if you think something went wrong, we can discuss what were the wrong answers, and we'll try to get the right answers. Is that
Yeah,
okay?
whatever, like, you think, it's good, we can do that. And
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
once again, like, I'm really looking like, little study material for myself in those
Fine.
2 days, rather than Googling or something like,
No,
uh,
no, don't Google, please. Don't Google, please, because
yeah,
I'll
I
tell you,
don't
no,
want,
you have a plethora of information on the internet.
uh,
The reason is why, it's like a hyperlink. When you click on one link, it goes to another link. It keeps
uh,
going around in circles. You don't land up anywhere. So I would
exactly.
try to give you the extract of PMP so that you can build on this foundation.
Yeah, like, what is the study material then for me
I'll do one thing. I will mail you this content. Is that okay for you?
yeah, that is also okay. Later, like, I can pick up from
Few
these.
things, the extract of these things, I will mail you. Few extract what is important, I will mail you. Okay.
Yeah, sure.
Uh-huh. And as you keep up with the pace